So today is Monday. I had no idea what yesterday was. Sorry about that. Apparently it was Sunday. I would have bet it was early or middle of the week. That's how discombobulated I am. It's going to be a one-taker. I apologize for that. But we're going to do a little bit of an audit of progress that's been done versus progress that needs to be made, at least here downstairs in the basement. So today was kind of a clean up, clean out, post online, sell, get rid of stuff day. Working down here, it's cold outside. It was like 23 all day. It sucked. We got a pizza for dinner, watched the Cavaliers beat the Toronto Raptors by 20 points at the end, but it was a close game up through the first half. Really, the first three quarters were very close. LeBron didn't even have to play the fourth quarter. Kyrie Irving stepped up, played some phenomenal basketball. It was a great game to watch. Anyways, check out these things. The scuba tanks, the OEM E39M5 exhaust with 190,000 miles and 14 Ohio winters, pretty much look like hell. I resprayed the bottom of these a couple years ago, which now look exactly like the tops. All the paint's flaking off. They're stainless, so the cans themselves really aren't rusting, but the mounting bolts and the mounting brackets are not too pretty anymore. Should you want to replace these brackets, take a look at that screw. See if we can get macro to work here. Look at that screw. Those are supposed to be threads. How would you possibly get those out? I mean, you wouldn't. You would just have to cut it off and replace the hardware. Freaking Ohio, it's a shit place. The part of the tips that I was able to clean while the system was on the car look pretty good. They're lightly swirled, as any piece of stainless steel, chrome, whatever the hell it is, would be after 14 years. But they really do look good. Like there's a little scuff here, right there. That's pretty minor. The insides have gotten, like, I cleaned part of it, but if you look in there with the light, they've gotten corroded on the inside from sitting down here in the dank, moist basement. That looks like it's been underwater with the Titanic for a couple of decades and just got surfaced. They're not worth anything. That's the problem. If you try to buy these things new from BMW, they're like $5,000. You try to buy them used in really nice condition, you really can't, because anybody that has them ends up giving them away, throwing them away, or scrapping them. So I put it up for free on the owner's page, and I got this guy in Menor, Ohio, Cleveland area, I think it's East Cleveland, that's going to stop by tomorrow, pick him up, put him on his 2000. He did a full straight pipe, and it's too loud, he's getting in trouble, so he's going to put the stock mufflers back on it. That'll quiet it down some. They work fine. The tips look good. They're just ugly otherwise. I'm sure you could sand that down. If you took a power washer to it, you could really clean these things up. Let them dry out, spray paint them in a matte black heat resistant paint, and they would look pretty good. Replace the hangers and they'd function fine. But I'm giving them away. I don't want them down here. They're heavy as shit. They're in the way. I don't want them. So they're going to be gone tomorrow. I had that bumper carrier from when I did the PDC retrofit in June. It's been sitting over here for months on end. I gave that away to some guy who's going to scrap it. You know what? I looked it up. It's 35 cents a pound for aluminum, assuming it's aluminum. I don't know what it is. It could be steel. He's going to make no more than $3 on that. And he drove like half hour to get here, so his loss. Unless he's just getting a huge batch and he'll take what he can get. I have the Honda Accord, the old mirror here, which I'm trying to sell on Craigslist. May end up giving that away. These are just random plastic bags for packaging stuff. I figure that'll come in handy. We have some car parts, more car parts. This whole box is full of fasteners. We have Swiss Vacs. There's a sway bar in there, some door trim. This is all the stuff pending on the M5. I don't actually think I showed you guys this stuff. Excuse the camera work here. This is the most recent order from ECS. This includes the rear subframe bushings, which are quite large. I got the LEM orders. They're the OE for a fourth the price. So 4 rear subframe bushings. I am obviously doing the rear subframe bushings. These gasket things, I think, either go on top or bottom. It says rear stopper for the rear subframe. I have a whole little baggie of hardware here. These are all the various nuts and bolts for the transmission bell housing, clutch replacement, shifter carrier, subframe, and any screw, nut, bolt, washer, fastener that comes off the car in this work that's going to be done in the spring, I don't want to go back on the car. These parts are $1 or less, and I just don't want rusty bolts after I put thousands into the car. So we got subframe or differential, I don't know which they are, bushings, I'm replacing all of those. Obviously, we've got some sort of random nut here. I don't think it'll tell us. Oh, lower transmission mount nut times 4. So we got 4 transmission mount nuts. There's a E60 545i short shifter kit in there, all new bushings for that. This looks like the center shaft bearing for the drive shaft, although the drive shaft wouldn't fit in there, that's too thin. Maybe it goes around the thinner part, but I'm pretty sure that's a center shaft bearing. Center mount. Luke knows more about this stuff because he's already done it with his car. This huge thing, oh, that's a flex disc. I didn't even know this was in there. That's a Jubo. Mine was replaced in 2010. Universal flex disc, but I figure while I'm doing it, I might as well just put a new one in there. It'd be more labor than it's worth to take it apart in a couple of years and do it again. This, it was on the parts explosion. I don't know what it is. Stop buffer. It was cheap and it's rubber, so I got it. Something with the transmission. And then more subframe bushings and a list of parts. So as Lyric begins to work on this project in the upcoming months, I'll just take this over and drop it off. They would have gladly purchased all these parts for me through the BMW dealer if I would have been willing to pay about 300% the cost, which I am not willing to pay 300% the cost for the same product. So screw that. They were kind enough to let me supply all of these parts myself. So I'm appreciative of that. They would not let me, however, supply the engine parts. Internal piston, or no, I'm not doing piston rings, but valve seals and all that crap, timing chains and tensioners. They wouldn't let me do that. Fine, whatever. I get that. They have their insurance policy and their warranty. That's good. I want the engine warranted for a while. This stuff, I trust the parts. I trust their workmanship. They've done this a million times. That's fine. This is all random car stuff that some of which will be going to California, some of which won't. Like here are the front impact strips for the bumper. Without the PDC holes. They're in perfect condition. No broken clips. They're beautiful. So I'll just need to, maybe Kenan or Luke or somebody might want to buy those from me for cheap. I got a thermostat in there, ready to give that to Lyric to let him do. I want to take the crawler. I want to take the ramps. I want to take the fluid transfer pump. Get rid of most of that stuff. That's just an empty ECS box for packing. The car cover, the car capsule, the bubble, I have for sale online. I want to get rid of that, get most of what I have in it. I'm not going to use it. I won't be storing the car out there. This is the last winter here, and so far it's been fairly mild. So we'll get rid of that. These will disappear in the car. We'll liquidate most of that. That'll disappear. That'll go. All of these down here are empty boxes ready for packing. That wooden chest is empty. I've got suitcases. That's a bag full of stuffed animals from when my sister cleaned her room out, and they've been down here for 10 years. They're probably moldy and dusty and can be gotten rid of. I'll get through that later. The exhaust used to live down here. I cleaned the floor. That's gone. I get free space now. Empty box, empty box, empty box, empty box. Ready for packing. Lots of old VHS as a kid. I don't know what we're going to do with those. My mom might want to keep some. We'll sell them, donate them. That's for funky nights down here in the basement. Fan for my room for when it gets hot. Mom's CD collection. Patio umbrellas. 4 folding chairs. Card table. Old train. I got a lot of old train stuff. I don't know what's going to happen to that. That's a G-gauge Bachmann. It's got the engine, a tender, boxcar, and a caboose with track and a transformer in the box. Then this whole other room over here is all, this is all G-gauge LGB, German stuff. I believe that's MTH O-gauge, that's MTH. My mom's dad made all of those houses, all of this stuff when he retired and got very bored. I don't want to give this stuff away, I don't want to sell it. But realistically, I can't take it to California, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. That's a pretty big dilemma. I don't know what's going to happen with the foosball table either, but that's everything that's in here. That TV that we mounted on the wall is going to Razvan. I would like to keep the stereo. I love the stereo. Pioneer QX949 quadraphonic receiver. Apple TV 3, I'll probably sell that. The 4 speakers in each corner, those are fantastic. I would love to keep those. I don't know if my dad wants them. This is my grandfather's stuff. Machete used in World War II for cutting brush. A gun from the Civil War. A bayonet also from the Civil War. I don't know where that's going. That's going out tomorrow. This is like a 10-minute clip of me showing you all the crap in my basement. Those are the patio chairs that go outside. This is random stuff I want to try to get rid of. I got disco balls, some little disco or some little fountain up there. That could be Craigslist stuff. There's another receiver. This one, the potentiometers, the pots need to be cleaned on it. And then it's worth money. So I don't know if I want to invest in it to clean the pot so it works and then sell it, or sell it as is and let somebody else deal with it. Everything else works except the power switch. The power switch is stuck in, so if you put it on a remote, works fine. Otherwise, you just plug it in and unplug it when you want to use it, or when it's fixed. Then the pots are clean, maybe they could replace that switch. I don't know why it's stuck in. It just, you know, they're supposed to go in, stay in, and do that. That one's just stuck in. I guess better stuck in than stuck out. This is all Christmas decorations. I don't know what's going to happen to Christmas decorations. That's all Halloween, kind of the same deal. But a lot of this is empty boxes. So we've made a lot of progress down here. I would say we've eliminated 30 to 40% of the stuff that's in this house over the last 18 months. Made a lot of good work. My bike, I want to take that. That'll make the trip to California. On that dirty ass shelf down there, we got a decent little chainsaw. That'll be useful in California. We'll take that, we'll take the hedge trimmer. These, the majority of them, this is oil for the 330. We got washer fluid, Prestone antifreeze. Those are all empty, ready to do oil changes. That's the best kind of thing to drain old oil into and then recycle. This used to be totally full of chemicals and stuff. I've cleaned this out, really the only stuff I use. Dry gas, PVC cement and cleaner, tape, extra Z6 bottles for spray, some towels, 330 gearbox oil and trans fluid. The battery's flashing, I'm running out of time. I got a heat gun, lots of tools. There's just paint and stuff. They'll stay with the house down there. Extra toolbox, old fan, Christmas tree, cat litter, water purification system, and air conditioner. I told you, full audit of all the crap that's down here and the progress I've made. So really, it's just little stuff I need to throw up on Craigslist and make disappear. We'll get the exhaust out of here tomorrow. I also put that on Craigslist and I got a couple people that said they would get it. So if the first guy doesn't show up, I've got a couple other options. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Now I know what day it is. I think I'm having lunch with Joe at some point tomorrow. Razvan wants to come over and plastidip the four wheels for the Jetta, so we'll probably do that. No game tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on otherwise, but I'll talk to you then. Sorry for a kind of a weird vlog, but I felt like talking, so I did. All right, talk tomorrow. Good night.